catch up with Grattan half an hour from now.
Now, workers at Ford Victoria are bracing for the worst, with fears the company will announce mass sackings today. Earlier in the year, Ford flagged that 400 jobs would go, but only 100 employees took up the voluntary redundancies offered.
Now, the union is concerned that workers at the Geelong and Broadmeadows plants will be sacked to make up the shortfall. The Ford cuts come despite a $100 million bailout package less than a year ago. So let's check in with our big guns of politics this morning. Environment Minister Tony Burke and Shadow Treasurer Joe Hockey. Good morning to both of you. Thank you for joining us. Tony, if I can ask you in relation to this incident. So the Manufacturing Workers Union says government needs to put money where its mouth is. Their stats are 33% of local, state and federal government cars are Aussie-made. Shouldn't you all be driving Australian-made vehicles?
Look, I do, but what's happening now is we're gradually increasing across the board. The challenge for Australian-made vehicles across the board has been that we were behind the curve in moving to more fuel-efficient cars. And a whole lot of the government investment that we've been putting into the car industry is about making sure we can have Australian-made hybrids, about making sure we can have Australian-made, more efficient cars. And as they come online, I think you'll find more and more government services doing what I'm doing.
So you're saying Ford's failed in that? You know, they've been given the out, make better cars, because you look at the car sales numbers in Australia, Ford is woeful. Like Falcons, they're only selling a couple of hundred a month.
And with what's happened with petrol prices...
They got the wrong car.
Yeah, with what's happened with petrol prices, you can understand people looking at the efficiency of a vehicle being key. Yeah. They will get in front on that again, and that's what the government investment's about.
Joe, your plan for the car industry, the Coalition's been rethinking a plan to cut $500 million in subsidies. Do you still stand by that now?
Well, Mel, people are not buying Australian cars, Australian-made cars, because they don't want to buy Australian-made cars. And the cars are not meeting their demands as consumers. Now, the government gave $34 million to Ford in January this year. The Prime Minister said this is going to create an extra 300 jobs. 340 jobs have gone. So wasn't there a guarantee that that money, that taxpayers' money, was going to guarantee jobs?
So are you saying we don't need the car industry?
No,
it's part of manufacturing in this country.
No, not at all. But protection is not the answer. I'll give you an example. Holden, and you have Mike Devereaux on your show here. Holden lost an entire shift of engine production because the Chinese government said that it was only going to buy motor vehicles from Chinese car manufacturers. Therefore, we lost out. If we apply the same rules to ourselves, any exports we've gone left, forget about it. You'll lose it. So any time we go down this protection route, we lose out. The bottom line is we need an efficient car, we need cars that consumers want, and then the motor vehicle industry will survive.
Okay.
Next topic I'd love your views on. Israel and Hamas, as we know, are on the brink of all-out war. Pro-Palestinian activists held a rally and a march in Western Sydney overnight. Now, they're calling for a boycott of the pro-Israeli chocolate cafe chain Max Brenner. Joe, your perspective on this. Your dad, as we know, came here as a Palestinian refugee. Do you think there's a need to see this here over what's happening in the Middle East?
No, emphatically not. Leave the politics to the countries that are playing the politics. Don't bring the politics here. I mean, that's why people come to Australia, not to revisit all of the woes of another nation.
What does your dad think, seeing all of this?
Well, you know, Dad's just so unbelievably grateful that in 1947 Australia welcomed him, and he sees himself only as an Australian. Full stop. He doesn't... he looks at it and he just thinks it'll never be resolved over there. And when you look at these sorts of events, I mean, how does it stop? But Israel does have entirely a right to protect its citizens. So if you've got... Well, you know...
Not to this extent.
Well, no, hang on, but understand this, that, you know, there have been random bombings from Hamas is a terrorist group, right? It is not a government. It has taken over the Gaza Strip from the Palestinian Authority, and it has launched... you know, terrorist attacks into Israel. Israel's got a right to defend itself. Hamas is part of a wider terrorism network. The people of Gaza are not particularly embracing Hamas.
Okay.
And they're using it as a staging post to attack Israel.
Foreign Minister Bob Carr has come out and said the two sides have got to get together, you know. Terrific, Bob. What can we do, though? we're half a world away. We'd have no influence whatsoever, would we?
And that's why Bob's put it the way he has. I mean, we can't pretend that a nation like ourselves is going to be able to ride in and simply fix this. The call for restraint should be made by Australia. It's being made by countries all around the world, because ultimately, until you end up with a two-state solution, the option will always be conflict as the only alternative.
And I suppose now we're going to go in the Security Council. Why not?
Yeah, we're going to have a view on everything now. Well, in the Security Council, you've got to have a view on everything.
But that's good, isn't it?
Well, it does. It's part of the duty of being on the Security Council.
Absolutely, we've got to play our role.
We do. I'm all for playing our role.
Okay, all right, thank you, guys. Not sure if you see Joseph in the Coldplay mosh pit on Saturday night, just give him.
Mate, you are useless. I rang Koshy to see if he could get me tickets.
Ring me.
And you know what? I got tickets, and then I offered him one. And Coldplay's part of the Sunrise family right here, so fair dinkum, you're hopeless. I've been here 10 years, can't even get me a ticket to a concert. God help us. I should have run Kerry Stokes.
Exactly. I agree with you.
But if you want to play for Port Adelaide, call him then. Here's Nat.
The inner workings of politics there. Let's go to the Middle East, where Israelis and Palestinians are